We're at 7:30, so um, welcome back, everybody. Good to see everyone. This is the seventh out of our eight training sessions that we'll have this spring, and tonight's topic is game management. It'll be presented by Carmine Picardo and Jim Kapoor, and we're looking forward to their presentation this evening on game management. And when we talk game management, we know it's just not about time; it's about other things. So. Let's make sure we listen carefully for this one. Want a reminder of a couple things, housekeeping things. The next training session will be June 24th, and that'll be presented by Bob Masucci, and that'll be on penalty enforcement, O2O usage, and measurements, I believe is the topic for that evening. So, as usual, Bob will probably have a great presentation ready, not to put any pressure on him, but there you go. Um, and as we had on as our background for our PowerPoint tonight, remember the clinic is August 2nd, and please make sure you register early and often. And June 30th will be the cutoff for you to receive a door gift from that day's events. So please make sure you register before June 30th to be eligible. And the last thing I want to let everybody know, please mute your mic this evening while these gentlemen are making their presentation so there's no interruptions and everybody can hear what's going on. If you have a comment, please throw it in the chat and make sure that you get it in there. Otherwise, last but not least, always as a reminder, these sessions are posted on our YouTube channel. And if, obviously the people on here are saying, but if you need to go back and see them again, they are on the YouTube channel. I guess we get them up there after a few days or so. So with no further ado, I want to pass it off to both Carmine and Jim and let them get moving and so I can stop talking. So welcome aboard, gentlemen.
Thanks, Scott. And first and foremost, it's only right. Carmine Picardo, who's on and is going to chime in various times tonight. He put together about 16 plays relative to this topic that Scott mentioned. It's kind of like sideline administration / sideline management. We also have a PowerPoint, and Steve Citro was kind enough to get these plays up for us tonight. So. I think I'll start by saying it's going to be a recurring theme tonight, folks, and that is about the white. What I'm talking about is the white apron. I actually got with Mark Vitar earlier today and mentioned to Mark in a text message that I planned on stressing the fact that he has always been in favor of, as was Carmine when he was the NJSI state assigner, of officials owning the white, controlling the white, if you will. And Mark was adamant, said, please, by all means, during a play, we just simply have to have the white available. And we'll take a look at some videos tonight. In some cases that it was done very well last year, and in other cases when it was not done very well at all. And I think, again, the recurring theme for tonight, it'll sound like a broken record. However, it cannot be underestimated how important it is that sideline officials, HL, S&F have the white to themselves to work. It gets very dangerous otherwise, and it's just it's something that's absolutely mandatory. So again, please brace yourself to hear this a number of times tonight when we look at some video, and then kind of intersperse that with the PowerPoint. So, Carmine, how are you tonight?
All well, Jim. All well. Ready to go.
Good. Well, thanks again for putting these plays together for our benefit. So, Steve, with no further ado, could you go to the first play that we've looked at and said, yeah, this is the first play we want to show to the group? As you're doing that, I think we got 121 folks here, so good stuff. And these are all plays from 2024 folks from NJSI stuff, so it's very relevant to us. So with that said, go ahead, Steve. And Carmine has some circles and some diagrams. We'll talk about some things, but just take a look at the big picture of the field. Right now, we see the red is what I would call the white typically, but that's okay. You'll get the idea. And look up top. That looks pretty good, relatively speaking, except if you look back, the ball's on the -35, but you look back about 7 or 8 yards behind that, and you see, a coach, whomever, about the 28, 27 yard line, another guy at the 25. We understand in high school football, the the 25 to the 25 is the yard line, but those folks should not be there. And then look at the 40 yard line up top also. You see, I'm not sure who that is, but he's certainly someone who doesn't belong in that area. Down the bottom, it's harder to see. It looks like the official down at the bottom is pretty good as far as the red. Okay, but what we want to say, what we want to emphasize from the beginning, the guy up top, you got to say, coaches, you can't be in here. Now, we all know they're going to be there, and we all know it becomes kind of a pain in the ass. You got to remind them over and over again. But if there's a play where this official has to go backwards or even forward 4 or 5 yards, that whole area's got to be clear, or he's going to get hurt, or somebody's going to get hurt. And it might be the guy at the 40 is clipping the chain. I really can't tell, and maybe he's part of the chain crew. If that's the case, so be it. But the team's ready on the ball, so if that's the case, he might be a little bit late to the party. But nonetheless, Steve, please run the play. And I think that that's probably what happened. Bruce Cronauer, you're right on your comment. So, we get a run down here. Okay, now watch here. Okay, and that's fine. That's good mechanics. This guy squares off pretty well. Same play over. All right, and he had just set, I'm not sure what. All right, there's the same play, second time through. Take a look now at the official up top as he gets a soft spot or a cross-field spot. It's hard to tell, but this looks fairly pretty good. We've seen a lot worse.
Next play.
So this is not bad, all things considered. Okay, go ahead. Next play, Steve.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's Carmine had picked these plays out for the reasons. Again, although these guys were behind the play to start with, they don't belong there. And if we tolerate it, what happens as the game goes on, they get closer and closer. They compress the official. And again, let's say there's a quick turnover and the guy up top has to turn and go. Reverse mechanics, change up possession mechanics. Invariably, he's going to run into someone or have to vary his route down the sideline to cover the play. There's absolutely no reason that we haven't policed this in the past, other than years ago, and Mark and I and Carmine years ago talked about this. Everybody at one time was afraid, well, the coach might cut me. Well, those days are over. If you're going to cut, if an official is going to get cut in this day and age, he's probably going to cut himself. Okay, it's not going to be from a coach. So we got to stop thinking like that. We got to kind of change our direction, change our attitude. The red, in this case, the white on a lot of fields, we have to have it, and just keep reminding them. Now, in between plays, it's okay. It's not the great optic, but if this is a play that happens now, the chances are those guys step forward rather than back, and that causes even more of an issue. Okay, Steve, next play. Now, Carmen has picked out a kickoff here. We see our kickoff mechanics and umpires behind the kicker and all that stuff. Watch this run back starting right here. Go ahead, Steve, stop it. Can we stop it here, Steve? Now, look at the white here, folks. Okay, this is really very pristine. This is what we want. This is the ideal. Look at the visiting team across the way in white shirts. I see complete white, and the same thing is true down the bottom for the most part, maybe a little bit around the 28-yard line. Or might be a player and a coach around the 25. All right, but this is far better than what we see a lot of times. And what's going to happen, we all know, when the ball's kicked and the guy starts running it back, these people tend to move up. Nobody ever moves back. Everybody moves up. But this is really good optic here pre-kickoff. I'm not sure, honestly, if it's the opening kickoff. Carmine, do you remember if it was?
I don't remember. Just run it to the comments.
Okay. All right, Steve.
It
Yeah,
is
that's all right.
clip one, so I think this is an opening kickoff.
Yeah, perfect position.
Okay.
Everybody's in great position. Opening kickoff.
Yep. And that white looks awful good, folks. So
That's the way we want it, just like that.
yep. Okay, Steve? And by the way, let's not be remiss in mentioning that's a great score off up top, by the way. Remember this year, the manual, your NJFOA 6-man manual on kickoffs now, once it's kind of established that the kicker isn't kicking the ball near the goal line, which of course on this play it isn't, we're letting the H and L move up pre-kick to about the 10 or 15 where he feels comfortable. We still want to be behind the deepest guy, all right, but we've eliminated the mandate of starting as far as the H and L on the goal line pylon. The referee's still going to be on the goal line, but just think about that as you play this play in your mind if you're an H or an L. Good hustle by the umpire. And just a general comment here, as Carmine said, this is the first, or Steve, first kickoff of the game. It's important to get the game off to a good start, and that starts with the kickoff as far as our mechanics and movement and stuff like that. I don't know this crew, but I can tell you this, they look smooth, they look good just on the very first play of the game, and that's obviously a good start. And a lot of times that's how the game will continue. So every play matters. Carmen, what do you got here? Anything else?
No, looks good. Next play.
Okay, Steve. Beautiful shot from the end zone. Okay.
Run it
Kickoff.
back you run it all the way to the comments, Steve. That's it. Next play. That's different. There you go.
Okay. And a very similar thing, right? Look at the white up
Yep.
top, the white down the bottom. Looks very good. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to get to. There's no reason this is not the case. The fact, okay, and that's good. If
I put in this is dead, excellent
Yep.
dead ball officiating. If you run it a little further, you'll see the I think linesman or line judge come in, and there he is, cleaning up right there. Looks good. Both officials
sure does.
are right there. That's
Yep.
excellent mechanics from start to finish on this play.
And Steve, if you can run that back, I would like everyone just to visualize in their mind what would happen on this kickoff return if the team was in the white, if the subs and coaches were in the white, as the return man brings the ball upfield and kind of gets knocked out of bounds a little past the 25. Okay, imagine if there was a lot of players and coaches right there. In the opening kickoff, you got open space plays,
Oh,
potential for injury, and so on. Okay, Steve?
Now look at this one. You'll see the comments. Look up top. You can see it pointed out.
Yeah.
Guys have to clean this up right from the beginning. I mean, Jim, you've been pressing. We'll keep harping on the same theme all night. You guys have to own the white. And good game management and sideline management. You have to show the coaches that you are in control. And one way that you can control the game from start to finish is making sure that white area is clean. And if it's not clean, you have to take care of business. And I know Mark and I have had several conversations over the last few years, and he feels exactly the same way I felt for many years. The white is the officials. If there are coaches abusing that white, then you have to take care of it by warning them, number one. Number two, throwing a flag. Number three, throwing a flag. Number four, throwing a flag. And that'll clean it all up. And he supports that. I have always supported that. As a matter of fact, I used to tell coaches in all the meetings I went to, Coach, if you get a flag for sideline warning, that's on you. Don't bother calling me, emailing me, complaining to me. It's on you. And quite frankly, I never got a call from a coach when an official flagged them for a sideline warning. All right. I mean, coaches will bicker and moan, say, hey, these guys are a pain in the ass. They keep telling me to back up, back up, back up. You know, they should be concentrating more on the field. But that's just coach speak. All right. Your job is let them say that. Right. You want them to say that. Right. If they're saying that, that means you're doing your job. So it's clear as day. Mark supports that philosophy as I did. And I think, guys, you just have to feel confident that you go in there and do what you have to do. They'll complain, they'll bitch and moan at you, they'll tell you you'll never come back to work at this field again, so on and so forth. And Mark's going to do exactly what I did. Totally ignore them and send you back the following year. All right, no problems. Just take care of it.
And let's, to Carmine's point, folks, let's not forget, we can throw a flag without yardage. It's a warning. It's a sideline warning
Right.
initially without contact. So that sends a great message. But to the point, look at up top the circles that Carmine has. We got an assistant coach or the head coach, not sure who. He's 2 yards behind the ball. He's right on the intersection of the white and the green. All right, that short wing up there, and that's punching back because the guy's off the line of scrimmage, kind of the wing back here for the team in white. But I mean, he's there, and to ignore it, that's not what we want, folks. I can't harp it enough. I told you, 15 minutes ago, the theme of the night would be a repetitive theme about we own the white. You're safer. It's a better game, and it's a better managed game. It's just it's a direction we have to go in. Statewide, short wings, deep wings. Please don't think you're being a nice guy. Okay, Steve? Now, stop it here, Steve. When the coach up top comes on the field to give the next play to the quarterback, we don't care about that. Now, this official should be backing out now to get back to the sideline. And by that time, number 9, the quarterback's probably going to be running in with the new play and so on, right? But again, just keep reminding him, Coach, I need the white. I need the white. And believe me, and I'm not talking out of school, I've done it, where people don't listen. You run into them and you flag them. And then they go, well, what's about the warning? No, Coach, there's no warning when there's contact. None. None. If I run into you, it's automatically 15 yards. Okay. And now in between plays, that's just, again, keep reminding. Obviously, you're not going to remind the guy during the play. You're working the play wherever the play goes and stuff like that. But you got to keep reminding in between plays, Coach, it's mine, it's mine. And if you flag it, Coach, legitimately, you won't have to do it twice because I'm telling you, in the other side of me, get back there. Everybody knows what's happening when there is a 15-yard penalty for sideline interference. Everyone on the field knows what would happen. We're not looking for it, but if it's there, we cannot shy away from it.
By the way, Jim, in high school federation rules, there can be up to two coaches
Right. Two
in that
warnings,
belt,
right? Yep.
but they have to get out of the belt when the snap is imminent, not at the snap, when the snap is imminent.
Right.
And we have always interpreted the snap being imminent when the center got over the ball and the quarterback began his cadence, right? So that's when they have to get out. Truthfully, I would try to back them out before then, right, if you can. But that would be the most that you would allow. 2 coaches, right, being that way. Not one at the 20-yard line and one at the 30 either. All right. But basically 2 coaches maybe near the line of scrimmage. But even then, I would probably prefer to back them out of there before the center got over the ball.
And look, without being prophets here, which none of us are trying to do, but this clearly is a later season game because the officials are in long sleeves, which tells me that this team probably did this all year long without ever really being reined in on it. That's the reality of it.
All right, next play, Steve, if you don't mind.
Same game.
Could be, yep.
3rd and 1. That guy hasn't moved except he's maybe 2 yards farther behind the ball than he was earlier, but he's still
again,
on the sideline.
What a lot of officials I've noticed is, they'll look downfield, towards the end zone and see it's clean, but then going the opposite way, you have 2 or 3 people in that zone. If there's a fumble, a quick interception, and you got to go back, you're going to run into the guy. I mean, you got to clean that up. You just have to. You can't you can't allow him to sit next to you, even though he may not be in the play 95% of the time if you're going towards the goal line. But at 5% of the time, something happens that could be trouble.
Dave Parfit has a comment earlier. If we don't clean it up, somebody gets hurt. That's certainly plausible. And Bruce, we commented on your chat message. So thanks, Bruce and Dave. All right, Steve. All right, next play. Go ahead. This is the next play. Now, here's a play that Carmine just now. Look, stop it here. 4 yards in advance of the line of scrimmage, we see a coach almost right directly on the green. If that short wing has to move quickly to cover the play from the minus 33, minus 34, wherever it's at down there, there's almost invariably going to be contact. There's 2 guys in the way downfield and 1 guy about 5 yards behind the ball. This just shouldn't happen. And again, if we clean it up, if you keep emphasizing it just before the snap, hey, coach, I need the white. I need the white. Coach, I need the white. If you say it enough, it sinks in. And we all know that, and I don't mean this facetiously, but, coaches can be hard-headed. We get that and all that stuff. But you're putting yourself at danger, and you're not going to be able to cover the play well. All right. If Eddie Camp, I don't know if Eddie's on, but he would want the wing official at the top for his toes to be on the intersection of the white and green, not his heels, or it's hard to tell, but get a little bit wider here. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that, folks. Wider is better. Kind of like the slower we go, the better we are. The wider we are, same thing, the better we are. Okay, Steve. So on this play, that's perfect. That official at the bottom should be able to slide down, square off as he does, gets a nice forward progress spot, about 3 yards, whatever, short of the line to gain. And the guy up top has moved. I guess he's avoided the 2 coaches there, but they're just a little bit too tight for me to be comfortable there. I think Carmine, remember, the officials own the white. Okay. And again, as you come in, they're going to come in, and then you back out, and they should back out. We get that. And number 9, the quarterback is already, you can see, started to go towards the sideline to get the next play. Some teams still do that. That's their prerogative, of course. But be cognizant of people in your way and in the area. So once the quarterback gets to play, hey, coach, appreciate your being back. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good. That should be part of the conversation. In between out of plays, almost like a rhythm like that. Okay, Steve? Now stop it here for a second, all right? If we're paying attention and we're a short wing here, the ball looks like it's around the minus 31, 32. On this, if I'm the short wing up top, I would like to get on the 0-2-0 and say to the referee, it's a short 5, right? We got to do those things. We got to do those things. Communicate with one another. So when you say a short 5, it's not so much just that we know a 5-yard penalty on the defense will result in a first down. It's also to make everyone aware, okay, mentally, of where the line to gain is, approximately where it is. Now, certainly both of the short wings should have a good idea, but so should the referee and umpire. So if the guy gains around 4 yards, the referee comes up and takes a look. Did the guy reach the line to gain at the minus 36? So I'm sure a lot of folks on here use that verbiage, short 5, long 5, whatever. I know a guy that always says a 5 will get you 10, meaning a 5-yard penalty on the defense will get you a 1st and 10. Whatever words you like or your crew likes is certainly okay. But little things like this make a difference in a game. It's all part of the big picture of game management. And that's at every level. I can assure you people do this at the collegiate and the NFL level.
Jim, Mike Wendell chatted, as a deep wing, he can see often coaches behind a short wing that a short wing may not see. He might, obviously concentrating on the snap, all right? That would be your first priority. So it's a good suggestion, a really good suggestion. The deep wings help your short wings. Say, hey, look, behind you, Jim, right behind you, there's a coach. Not this play, get him out of there next play. All right. So help your guys out. You have the O2Os. Makes life easy for everyone. So that's an excellent comment. I think it's a really good use of the O2Os.
It is, and Mike Wendell, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I'll tag on to Carmine. It is a great point, as well as you should, as a deep wing, you should be looking behind the back of the short wing in case of a timeout or something, especially when the ball's in the red zone. The deep wing or the short wings are really tied into the line of scrimmage. Sometimes the coach is yelling timeout. They don't know it, they don't hear it, they don't see it. And if you're looking behind the guy's back, as you're indicating that you would be doing here, so kudos. Mike Wendell, and again, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but that's you made a point bigger than maybe we realized. So, thank you. Okay, Steve. Now it looks like the guy made the first down. I like this short wing coming down and killing the clock. All right, and the deep wing here coming up. Maybe that's Mike. I don't know. Maybe that's Mike Wendell. Or am I doing what he just put in the chat box? I don't know, but looks pretty good there. Good optic. Good optic.
Jim, one of the things that I often notice is the deep wings, they get a little lazy as the game goes on. But you have like this official here. He's coming in, hustling in hard, dead ball. Comes in, helps out, getting the ball in, cleaning up some of the action. Deep wings do not do that often enough. And as far as game management goes, that is such a big factor in making sure that the plays get cleaned up, the players get cleaned up, the sidelines get cleaned up. Deep wings, you can't park your butt back there 25 yards and just stand there. When that play is over, running play like this, you got to come in and you got to help out. You're getting paid $100. You got to earn it. And I remember when we first started Six Officials, one of the selling points I would use with the athletic directors and coaches is that sixth guy, those two guys, they are an extra set of eyes on every play. They'll be coming in, making sure that players don't get hurt, blah, 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 safety, safety, safety. And that was one of the ways I was able to sell it. So guys, don't get lazy, come in, earn your money, and it also helps out your crew and makes the game a lot safer.
This is a good accordion in, and looks good. It's a good optic, and the ball, getting it to the umpire, getting back, and referee punching it, winding it. Let's roll it. Let's roll tempo of the game. Control the tempo of the game. Okay, Steve. Another kickoff here, right? So stop right here. Look at the coach at the 43-yard line. Like, seriously? Seriously?
And look at the guy on the crutches.
Okay.
You run into him.
Right behind that. Okay. And we're tolerating this. Again, I don't know. We don't know if it's the opening kickoff, but this is just why? Why are we here? If that, I don't know, I guess it's a side judge at the 40-yard line at the bottom. If he starts to move downfield, it's almost, my way of thinking, it's almost guaranteed there's going to be contact.
Steve, can you go slow-mo on this play, see what happens? Hard to see, but that guy doesn't move.
You
The
never
official
move.
actually has to go around him a little bit.
Never move. You know whose fault that is, folks? That's our fault. That's our fault. You got to own up to it. Now, the guy kicked it for a touchback, and this is probably not the norm high school kicker. Here, this kid kicked it, 60 yards. It's a touchback. The kid catches it in the end zone, going to the 20-yard line, all that good stuff. But that coach can't be there. He just can't be there. And look at all those people down at the goal line where the player caught the ball for a touchback. There's probably 7 or 8 people that are, in my view, too close. Maybe there's a newspaper guy that I surely can't tell. Maybe a statistician guy. But why are they there? Why are they there? Yeah, so Bill Young has a chat comment. The official has to alter his path. That's a flag. It's not contact. All right, but it's minimally a warning. Okay, to Bill Young's comment. Bill, I don't know if that's what you're looking for here, but good point. Okay, if you have to alter your path, you have to have a flag on the ground. Might not be yardage, but you got to have that. That's clearly sideline interference or a sideline warning if there's no contact. Okay, go ahead. I'm not trying to be silly about it, but if there's guys on our crew on this call, I'll tell you, I'm never hesitant to bang a coach because they don't belong there, and that should be. Carmine has this guy circled here. Now that we're in the red zone, I think the ball's on about the 9-yard line going in, and that guy's going to be there before the snap, pre-snap, right, and all that. But not only is he on the field, he's outside the 25-yard line, right? Now we're not going to stop the game or anything like that. But if we notice it, and we might not, I get it. All right. But why aren't the deep wings, to Mike's comment a few plays ago, look through the short wings back? You should be able to see that and just say, get to your short wing. Hey, he's got to get out of there. Go talk to him. You don't have to yell. Just go talk to the guy. Coach, remember, I know you're into the game. We get all that, coach. All right. But this is our office. I mean, I go to a lot of basketball games. I'm sure people here go to baseball games, umpire or softball games. I've never seen a coach on a field during a baseball game between the lines. I've never seen that. Of course, I'm being a little bit cynical, but why are they there? Why are they there? So, anyways, all right, go ahead, Steve. Yeah, and Dave Parvit has a comment, and so does Tony Benedetto, and both are legit good. I don't know if we're stereotype defensive coaches. I mean, they might be the most blatant example or blatant what's the word I'm looking for? The most blatant example. I don't know what else to say of these guys, but nonetheless of this rule. But keep reminding them, and at some point, if every official did it all the time, maybe it would sink in. Maybe it would sink in, and it's up to us, folks. Believe me, they're not going to do it on their own. If we let it go, it's never going to get any better. Never. Okay, go ahead. Again, a kickoff. I think this is our 4th kickoff that's been shown tonight. Okay. Good at the bottom, looks good at the top. I don't know if it's the opening kickoff of the game or not, but that's a pretty good optic to start with. Just got to keep it at. A question here from Reggie Grant. What happens if during the kickoff the receiving team is running for touchdown, official runs into the coach, receiving team along the sideline? So we're going to flag it. It's a UNS. Who would like to answer in the chat? The question is, where do you enforce that flag from for sideline interference, contact with a coach? In high school, where are we going to enforce that from? Good question, Reggie. Anybody want to? All right, here we go. Right, so correct, John Welling. Touchdown counts, PAT or the kickoff, right? PAT or the kickoff. Okay, Steve, this kickoff here. Notice the kid holding the ball for the kickoff, somewhat unusual, certainly allowed. Maybe it's windy.
This game is played at Ocean City field. That's right next to the ocean. You could throw the football from the field into the ocean from there.
Okay, so,
One of the nicest venues in all of New Jersey.
Steve, can you go back to this play to want to make a comment about the kid holding a ball? Okay, so sometimes, and I think Carmine's indicating it could be windy, understood, near the ocean, but anywhere. So the rule of thumb is if the kicker tees the ball up and it blows off the tee before he can kick it, let him fix it again. But if it happens a second time, that's when you, as the umpire, you got to tell the kicking team somebody got to hold the ball. Don't let it happen more than 2 times on a given kickoff. That's not a rule. It's just something that's come. It's kind of evolved over the years. And frankly, I don't know that we've ever brought it up but it just jogged my mind when I saw it here. And with Carmine's comments about the wind, the likely wind there at that field. So, and Mike D'Ambrosio, correct. You still need, 4 and 6 on the side of the kicker. So the kid holding the ball has to be on the quote correct side, or it could be a 3-7 scenario. So I think, Mike, that's what you're driving at. You're absolutely right. Okay, let's look at a couple more plays, then we'll go to the PowerPoint to try to look at this sideline here. Stop it here. Now, I don't know where this is, and I don't think anybody wants to know where this is, but look at this mess.
That's at Ocean City. That's why I put this play in. I
Okay.
mean, one of the problems I've noticed over the years is, especially games where you have bigger venues and bigger crowds. You got to keep those people back. I mean, look at some of those people. They're only a few yards off, and you get stopped. You have to stop the game and go look. You have to get back. Behind those limit lines. 8-10 yards back. And if not, the game's not going to be played. It's on game management. You have to be forceful. I know our referees don't want to do it because they're afraid the AD is going to get pissed off and call the assigner and scream and blah, blah, blah. But you got to take care of business. That looked ugly, potentially dangerous. I think, just in general, we take a little bit of a liability for the. We have some culpability for those sidelines in terms of liability also and legal exposure. If we allow the sidelines to be, a mess and fans to be very close to the sideline and someone gets hurt, a fan or a player, you could damn well bet, if they have a smart lawyer, they're going to come out, swinging. They're going to sue you. They're going to sue the school. They're going to sue, everybody they can. And you're going to be, as an official, I think you have some culpability because the rules clearly state, they're supposed to be back. And if you're not enforcing the rules, then you have some exposure. So I've always felt that way. And look, stop the damn game and, take the heat then, but you'll protect yourself. And you're also going to do your fellow officials a favor because remember, if game 1, clean up the sidelines, and the next crew comes in game 2, cleans up, and game 3, game 4, game 5, the same way. By the time you get to game 7, 8, and 9, those guys aren't going to have to be worried too much because the sidelines will stay clean. But if game 1 and game 2 is ugly, so will be game 3, 4, and 5. And that's, in respect for your own comrades in officiating, you need to take care of business week in and week out.
Well, let's talk about this play pre-snap here. The ball's on the plus, it looks like the plus 19-yard line. You see the deep wing on the pylon. He should be farther off, but he's probably not because of all the people there. The ball's on this hash as well, meaning towards the short and deep wing up there. If this quarterback throws some kind of a fade pattern at the pylon, I shudder to think what's going to happen with all the people there already in the way. This is a recipe. Carmine mentioned potential legal ramifications. Just, hey, folks, this can't be. This is on us. I know it's difficult. I know you don't want to be the bad guy. None of us do. But this is a clear safety scenario. And if we don't address this sooner or later in our career, some official, one of our officiating brethren is going to get hurt, potentially seriously, or a player. If this pass is thrown, a fade pass, like I said, near the pylon, I mean, where are the players going to, what if the kid gets hit in the air, gets driven out of bounds? Where is he going to land? On a person? This is incredible. But we tolerate it. And if we tolerate it, I'll say it again and again and again, if we tolerate it, it's going to continue. It'll never get any better. And we've already let the cat out of the bag for years and years and years and years. And now it's hard to put it back in. We all get that. I'm not preaching to the choir, but I'm telling you, if anyone, I'll find a way to send you video of the college conferences that I run. And I can assure you, we truly own the white. I've showed it to the national coordinator. We own the white every year. We meet with the coaches, both of the conferences preseason. I tell them there's no wiggle room. get out and stay out of the white. That's our office. And you'd be amazed how it's gotten cleaned up and it stayed cleaned up because it's emphasized preseason and then every single game. And this is really this is a bad optic. This is not this isn't good, but okay, well, enough on it. And Vic Simon's comment, look for the AT to help. That's a good idea, but sometimes they don't want to hear about it either, quite frankly. The reality of it is it's going to fall on us. That's the cold, hard reality. Sometimes you just got to quote Eddie Camp, roll up your sleeves, go to work. Hey, I need everybody backed out here. If there's game management, sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. They might be able to help, to Vic's point, but that's not. Ultimately, it will fall on every one of us, ultimately, and no one else. That's the reality of the situation. Okay, Steve? I like in and out of the foul. All right, offside, 5-yard penalty. It results in a first down. We should be winding the clock, ready to roll. All right, next play, Steve. This is the next play. Now look at the deep wing there. Look at this. Look at these people there. The guy signaling 11 guys. I don't even know if he counted, but you can't possibly be comfortable there. And Carmine has a comment here. Okay, the umpire shows good hustle and presence, making his presence felt. All right, get the ball, put it down, get out of there. Get the ball, put it down, and get out of there. If I can have you stop for a second and say, what officiating is about, folks, on the big picture, the 50,000-foot view, it's about three things. It's about rules, it's about mechanics, and about game management. And for years and years, it is my very strong opinion, very few officials have been taught or instructed about the critical importance of game management. It's equal, it's at least a third of the pie, if not more. And I think we're getting around to that kind of mentality more and more in New Jersey. Anybody can call offside. Anybody can call a false start. Can you manage a situation? What we're seeing on this play has nothing to do with the rules. It has nothing to do with holding, has nothing to do with DPI, illegal, nothing. It's managing the game, managing the environment. Okay, Steve?
You watch the umpire on this play
Yep.
again. If you watch it, he goes right after a couple of guys that are
Yep.
maybe jostling a little bit. And it's again perfect game management. He's hustling, he's aware, he's
Bingo.
right in
Yep.
there. This is what you have to do. All right. This is part of game management. You're managing players as well as coaches and sidelines. You have to be cognizant off the ball. Off the ball officiating. That plays by beyond him. He doesn't have really that much responsibility anymore. He's watching his players in his zone. This is what we have to do. Excellent by that umpire.
Absolutely. Dead ball officiating. All right. Steve, let's look at one more play and then go to the PowerPoint to try to hopefully interpolate some of this into that. Carmine here is playing tic-tac-toe with his device here. But look at this arrangement on the sideline here. The ball is on looks like the -22 near the hash. We have at least 4 people, coaches, it looks like, including one guy who's right at the line to gain. Isn't that beautiful? And look at the chain gang. It's right almost on the sideline. The rules specifically say it has to be off the sideline. That's a rule. So God forbid something happens here, some attorney gets hold and says, you guys ain't even following the rules. This is a recipe for disaster. Please, folks, don't hesitate to do the right thing. Don't hesitate to do the right thing. Okay, Steve's going to pull up a PowerPoint also dealing with sideline administration, sideline management. So we'll take a look at this, put this together and try to personalize it for NJFOA and Federation. So this is what we share with our officials and coaches. But I think like I said, I tried to edit it, if you will, for Federation rules and NJFOA. So go ahead, Steve. And anybody, chat box, Carmine, whomever, please don't hesitate to chime in ask whatever, okay? Please read this to yourself. I'm not going to bore you, okay? But it is an art. It's not a science, okay? You can just hold that there a minute, please, Steve, okay? Give everyone an opportunity to read the 3 bullet points. At the bottom of that, there's an author named Brian Curtis who wrote a really good book on football that I read more than once, frankly, called Every Week is Season. And what it does is it details the incredible preparation that a coach or a coaching staff puts in from week to week to week to week. And trust me, folks, even in high school, a lot of these guys spending, 4 or 5 hours after school every day, practice, coaching staff meeting, evaluating tape, whatever the scenario might be, getting ready for the next practice, for the next opponent, and so on. It's a neat book. If you're into reading, I would suggest try to find it. It's about, I want to say 15, 16 years old, called Every Week is Season. And it really gives, I think, officials a good appreciation of what coaches go through as they prepare and why they're sometimes so hyped up before a game on the sideline, whatever. Okay. Bruce Cronauer claims he read the book. He claims it's great. I don't know if we can get confirmation from Bruce's wife that he actually read the book, but that's all right. Go ahead, Steve. Think about these things, folks, as you read the bullet points here. I'd let this stick here for 60 seconds or so, please, Steve. If I may, something that I was taught a long time ago by, in my opinion, the best supervisor I ever worked with in my life. Sadly, he's deceased now. But he always told us when you're with a football coach, you look the coach directly in the eye. Don't look down, don't look away, don't cover your mouth like you see a lot of people do, some kind of a classified government secret or something. Football coaches like to be looked in the eye, look them right in the eye, speak slowly, speak clearly. This is even before the game. Shake his hand, look in the eye. Hey, coach, great to be here today. Very, very happy to be assigned to this game and working your sideline. I'll be here in the first half, and Steve will be here in the second half, whatever the scenario would be when we switch at halftime now and stuff like that. All right, but think about these things that you see here. They're all designed to help us manage the sideline. Okay, they're all designed to help us manage the sideline. And if you do it early, you got a better shot at it. Don't wait till the opening kickoff to say, by the way, coach, I need to wait. That should be established beforehand. I always tell coaches, I need 2 things from you, coach. One is what I need from you is to allow me to work the game. And 2, what I need from you is if you got something to say, please, you say it to me. I'm not into listening to assistants all that much. Okay, Steve? And Mike, Wydell, if that's again, if I'm okay, I'm thinking of you as I read the 3rd bullet here, a line of sight between you and your sideline partner. So if you're a deep wing, you should be able to look right down the sideline and see short wing and vice versa. Communicate every play, the down, all right, we're playing second down. If it's 2 sticks, we got, 12 yards to go, the team lost charge, there's a penalty, whatever it is, stuff like that. Where the ball is inside the 10, hey, I'm coming to the 2, whatever the situation is, communicate every play. That's what really separates good officiating. Again, not to be redundant, folks. Your next door neighbor could call an obvious false start. Your next door neighbor could probably call an obvious defensive offside in the zone, whatever. All right, but a lot of people, even the guys are brothers in stripes. We don't communicate well. If you communicate well, you'd be amazed how coaches think. Even if we don't, they think we know what we're doing. They think we know what we're doing. And that's a big part of this business. Okay, Steve? And as you look at that slide, everyone, It's what I call the 50,000 foot view. This might elevate us. Eddie Camp would call it graduate level type work. Okay, if you don't have enough room, address it early. Don't wait until there's a play that you get stuck on now, or you get hit, or you hit and run into someone. Okay, I call them deposits. You're putting money in the bank. Okay, coach, that's a great play. Your player stayed 22 made a great play to stay off a late hit, or whatever the scenario might be. Okay, appreciate your help, coach. All these things are perfectly fine. Coaches are not necessarily our enemies. They're not our friends. But I'm not quite sure that we have to be adversarial all the time. And I get it. Look, we all know there's some coaches that are just miserable human beings. It happens. You still try to be professional. You still try to be positive. And at the end of the day, he might say, these guys ain't, but he's not going to say you didn't hustle and you didn't try to work with him. Okay? Are all coaches the same? In some ways, yes, they all want to win, but they're all a little bit different in how they approach it. That's why officiating is not for everybody. That's why it takes special skills to do this well. That's why your neighbor can't do it well, even though he or she might think so. Okay, go ahead. Look at the title of this slide, please. Is this a problem or not a problem? And then please read the 4 bullets. Again, I like to think, this is me, it's worked for me. This is kind of the 50,000 foot approach I take. Okay. I have to identify right there and then, is this guy a problem or not? Sometimes coaches are not problems, but they become problems during a play. You run into them. And if that happens, tell coach, I'm sorry, you didn't give me an out. You didn't give me a choice, coach. The last thing I want to do, coach, is flag you, but I had no choice. I mean, you don't need to scream at him or anything like that, but just, it's okay to be firm and yet professional. Okay, Steve? Please check out the 4th bullet here, folks. And when I say a raving coach, we all know what a raving coach is. A guy that every single play he's carrying on, he's, maybe even cussing, whatever it is. Okay. Don't tolerate it. Coach, I have had enough. I've heard you. I've listened to you, and I'm not listening anymore, coach. Some guys will back off. If they don't, that's why you have a yellow flag. But again, as I have at the bottom there, it's a last resort. But if you got to use it, folks. Okay, it's not a gun. All right, it's more like a stun mechanism. Okay, you're not going to shoot somebody. You're not going to shoot the guy. But at the same time, if you have to use it, use it. Just make it the last resort and tell it, coach, that's the last thing I wanted to do, but you gave me no choice, coach. Okay? You'd be amazed. Ultimately, they are human beings. Even the most raving or the craziest ones, they are people. And are some of them people that you don't look forward to seeing? Yeah, they are. But don't tell them that. Not before the game anyway. Okay? So, Coach, good to be here tonight. Nice to see you. Looking forward to working on your sideline or the game, whatever, again. Okay? It's okay. I always call Coach, even if I know the guy. I always proceed it. Coach Picardo. I would never call him Carmine as a coach. I would never do that. That's just me. That's just me. I was told that a long time ago. There's other ways, and if you know the guy real well and whatnot, and you feel, hey, Brad, you're a little bit whatever, that's up to you. Whatever works for you. But none of us, under any circumstances, in no universe, should tolerate a raving lunatic coach. And I see it all the time. We do. No need. Okay? So that's kind of the end. What I would like, if everybody would.
Jim,
No,
I
I'm
have
sorry. Go ahead, Carmine.
just
Yeah.
two more comments before we close. One is in terms of communicating with coaches even during the game. Often a coach will want to speak to a referee. Strongly suggest that a referee is to go to a sideline or near the sideline speak to a coach regarding a play that they question or something that happened during a game. Two things. One, don't go all the way to the sideline. Bring the coach out to you 4 or 5 yards on the field. Number two, bring someone with you when you communicate with the coach who can verify what the conversation was about. And three, make sure there's no other coaches in the area but yourself, the head coach, and one other official. Keep every other coach back where they belong on the sidelines, and then you have that conversation. Because I've noticed over the years where officials have a coach referee conference and there's 4 other assistant coaches chiming in, screaming, yelling, and it's bedlam. It looks ugly, and it is ugly, and nothing really gets accomplished. But if it's you, another official, and just the head coach, you'll be surprised. You can communicate very well. You can calm him down if he's a little excited very quickly. And the second thing I wanted to say is, in our manual, on pages 85, 86, and 87 of the current manual, there's in the appendix, there's an overview of handling altercations on the field. And of course, we all hope that that never happens, but unfortunately, it does happen. And there really are things that you can do to A, prevent the altercation from starting, or B, when the altercation does start, unfortunately, how to handle it professionally to make sure that the end result is a result that we can administer properly without real bedlam. So I suggest that if guys have a chance, pages 85, 86, and 87, clearly written in our manual. It's well written and some very thoughtful ideas of how to handle the value altercations. Something that every crew should probably discuss in their pregame in the first couple of games during the year. Valuable information, and some of us have never been involved in an altercation. Many of us have, and it's ugly. It's bad. It leaves a very, very bad taste in your mouth. And if we can prevent it in any way from happening, we should. So please, you get a chance, read those pages. I think it'll be a very, very well written information. Thank
All
you.
right, so before we turn it back to Scott for a closing thought or two, I want to thank the 130 folks that were on tonight. We hope to see many of you. I can't believe the clinic is less than 2 months away on August the 2nd. And I hope you have the start of a real good summer to each of you. Hope to see you on our last pre-clinic call on June 24th with Bob Masucci. So Scott Campbell, with that, back to you, sir.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Carmine. Great job tonight on game management. And I want to make a correction from something I stated earlier. The cutoff for the door gift at the clinic is June 23rd, not June 30th. So let's correct that again. June 23rd, not June 30th. Unless we have any other questions or anything to deal with tonight's presentation, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. And as a reminder, this will be posted on the NJFOA YouTube channel. So with that, look forward to seeing everybody on June 24th. And thank you again for participating.
Good night, everyone.